Sounds good.
Hello, and welcome to the Spiritual Solopreneur Podcast. If this content resonates, please like and subscribe. Today, my guest is Deb Keefer. Deb is a faith-based author whose writing gently invites readers to notice God's presence through the quiet, meaningful moments of everyday life. In her book, Whispering Angels, she explores spiritual awareness, divine guidance, and the subtle ways that heaven communicates hope, comfort, and encouragement. With over 30 years of angelic experiences, she shares in the book how she strengthened her connection with the divine even more by using automatic writing in her everyday life. Welcome, Deb.
Hey, thank you.
That is an awesome introduction, and I have to say, um, if there's any way of getting more hope, comfort, and encouragement in my life and everybody's life, I'm all for that. It's good to know that the angels are prepared to provide
Yeah,
some of that for us. And I
definitely.
do want to ask you, I want to talk about the automatic writing. I think that's fascinating subject. But I guess initially, I'd like to ask you about like when and how did you first realize that A, there is such things as angels, and B, that you can communicate them? Is it something you were born with, or did it come later?
I think it developed when I became a mother. I had a very strong Lutheran foundation growing up. And I loved reading about angels, reading about everyday experiences that people had. But I did have something take place that kind of set the ball in motion. And that was a situation on the highway. I was in our car with my son. He was in the back seat, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And we were heading up north to visit my in-laws. And um, I was going to pass a van, and so I was in the passing lane, and as I got about halfway up to his van, he started to come over into the passing lane.
Hmm.
And, you know, I knew he was going to hit me. I'm trying to find my horn, just freaking out a little bit. And there was nothing I could do. But as his van came over into the passing lane, the two vehicles melded together, and his van went through my SUV, and all I could do was just witness it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and then as this happened, then he continued on and drove, and then I could see the two cars again. But I was just shocked. I knew at that point that, you know, Archangel Michael had to have been there, the protector, to look out for my family and me. I was at first shocked that he wouldn't stop to see if I was all right. And then I realized he had no idea what had
Mm.
just happened. Um, so I think that experience, I'd always believed in angels, but that experience propelled me to read even more and to, you know, anything I get my hands on related to experiences people had, that was important to me.
Wow.
But it
So
really,
could I
yeah.
just with just to the this accident? So the truck came over and hit you, but like careened off, or
No, I couldn't even feel anything. It just went through my vehicle.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, I see.
Like a transcendence, and just
I
then
see.
moved ahead. Yeah.
Well, that's an experience and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Thank you, angels and whoever
yes,
else was involved in that.
right, exactly.
Oh my
So I was
gosh.
just so thankful.
Yeah.
Here I had my two young kids in the vehicle with me. And yeah, we were being watched over that day.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I could certainly see where that would spur you on to let's find out more about this. Were you doing Doreen Virtue's books and all that
Hmm.
sort of stuff? Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
those are good.
definitely.
There's some really great like tales of
Hmm.
people's experiences in those books. Oh wow. Well, that's fantastic. And so, okay, so you started reading about it more, and then did you start thinking about, okay, let's see if we can communicate more, you know, rather than
Yeah,
waiting for a potential accident?
yeah, I think that when I was a mother, for some reason, that's kind of when I um, was more aware of my intuition, and there were just certain experiences that happened that you could only explain an angel had been present. And so, yeah, I was very much into that. I did join an angel community, and just like it was a membership where they were just like-minded people that, had had experiences, and just I felt comfortable in sharing mine with them. And just grew just grew in that way. I kind of learned about what gifts I, have. They just kind of came alive at that time in my life. I didn't notice so much as a child. So, yeah,
So
that's kind
what
of where
what
that.
kind of gifts are we talking about? Do you think you're a bit psychic or can read energy, that kind of thing?
Definitely energy. Yeah. I I'm very empathetic. I've had experiences with smell and sight and hearing things, and I talk about some of those things. But just learning how to trust that, everybody can communicate. It's just a matter of strengthening your abilities and using it. And that's where automatic writing really comes in for me, because when I learned about that, it just kind of opened up a whole new world for me.
Wow.
Hmm.
I think you're right. I think pe so many people, I think that first of all, they have, experiences where angels have been involved, but they don't think of it that way, or, it's luck or whatever. Um, and they get communications from angels, but don't recognize them.
Hmm.
So, what are some of the ways that angels communicate with us?
Oh, it could be something simple as, I like to hike on the trail behind my house. And whenever I happen upon a feather, just something like that could be, you know, that different smells. I know that my husband and I have both experienced, we had grandpas growing up who smoked a pipe. And in different monumental times in our lives, we would smell pipe smoke. And it's just a very calming, um, I, I've also had phone calls from the divine from my grandpa when my two children were born.
Nice.
Unmistakable. They happened at the same time, 1:06 in the morning. And yeah, just little nudges like that are just comforting.
Yeah. But it's nice that you became aware of these things so that when the phone call came, you didn't just say, oh, a crank call or whatever and hang up.
Yeah, well, the first one, it kind of scared me, and that was enough to break the connection.
Okay.
But I knew it was my grandpa. So when it happened a second time before I even answered, I knew it was him.
Cool. So how'd the call go? Did you guys talk or?
No, it was just very staticky. And
Mm.
this is when we had landlines. Um, there was an operator that came on and said, collect call for Debbie from Debbie. Do you accept the charges?
Oh, really?
And of course, yeah, I accept the charges. And again, a lot of static. And then I could hear my grandpa's voice. He was calling my name. There wasn't a conversation, but
That's
I knew it was him.
that
And
is
like I said,
amazing.
the first
Yeah.
time I was frightened, and they don't want to frighten us. So it was enough to break the connection. But then, when it happened a second time, I was a little more prepared.
Right. Oh, wow. That's very, how comforting, you know.
hmm Yeah,
They
because
seem
he
to,
had passed several years before that. Yeah, it was very comforting to hear from him.
they seem to
hmm
know when is the right time as
hmm
well. I know I had something not quite like that, but shortly after my mother died, again, it was a not a cell phone, a plug-in
hmm
phone, and the phone rang, and it used to have the uh, caller ID card.
hmm
So it would either normally be a name or a number, right? Well,
hmm
I looked at it, it was the name of my hometown,
Really?
which I thought
Huh.
was a little strange. And my mother
Uh-huh.
loved our hometown. She was,
Uh-huh.
so I picked up phone. I was having a really bad day too. And I was like,
hmm
who is this? And yeah, it was just staticky and I didn't hang on the call. I just kind of slammed it down because I was annoyed.
hmm
And but I thought afterwards, oh, well, who puts the name of the town on the
Yeah,
caller ID,
right.
right? So,
Did it ever happen again?
no, but there were other things that happened, like
Yeah.
yeah, came what do you call it? Well, it's like a Ferris wheel of light kind of
hmm
thing, one of
hmm
those type things.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've all had most of us have had some kind of experience, and for those of us who are lucky enough to sort of recognize it,
Right.
it can be very meaningful.
hmm
Um, yeah, and so how did you get into the automatic writing?
Well, I had a situation. I was working on my master's. I had just lost my father-in-law. I had two young kids. I was just it was a hard time. And I'm trying to write the conclusion to my paper. And, when you sit there and you just can't find the words, and I just kind of laid my pen down and I prayed about it. I just said, I can't do this. I can't find the words. Um, I'm gonna need your help. I remember saying that. And 5 minutes maybe, I picked up my pen and I looked at what I'd been writing, and the words just came. I knew what to write. I knew how to end it. I knew how to wrap everything up. And I did that, set my pen down, and just, wow, it was just amazing to me that seemed so easy when it had been so hard 5 minutes, 10 minutes before. And so that was a personal experience I had. And then I think the book Angels Speak kind of plopped in I believe that certain books are placed before us um, to help us out. And this book was written by two sisters who shared how they um, learned to use automatic writing to communicate. And as I'm reading the book, I just amazed. It was very fascinating. They shared um, how they start with saying a prayer and kind of setting an intention and inviting um, God and his angels in. And, just asking what things are you able to share with me today for my highest good, for the highest good of others? And, they had in their answers that came for them. And it was just a really neat book. And being that I'd had one experience, at first I thought, well, nobody's going to believe that this happened. And yet I'd had an experience. So interestingly enough, I had a really good friend who lived south. Um, she called me and she said, "You were talking about this book, Angels Speak." She goes, "There's a class you can take in my community. It's a 2-hour class. Why don't you fly down here and take it?" And so I did just that. And everything in the book was just reiterated to me in this class. And that's kind of where it began for me. And when I got home, I just started out like a journal exercise, but I tried to follow what the sisters discussed in the book. And it just grew from there and has become something that I try to do daily, but um, it's just comforting, to communicate with God, the angels, um, past loved ones that I, have moved on. And it's just amazing. There's so much wisdom given to me in those pages.
Right. That's beautiful. So
Yeah.
when you kind of sit down to, some people would sit down to meditate. So you're going to sit down to um, write. And so it just comes to you, and that's the message from the angels for you that day, kind of thing.
I do meditate
Oh, you
beforehand,
do.
and I do play some piano music kind of in the background. That seems to work for me. And yeah, I just open their time up. Sometimes I'll ask a question, sometimes I'll just leave it open. Um, I've had, well, I was still teaching when the coronavirus struck, and just I would ask questions, like, um, you know, at first we thought it was going to last for a couple weeks, but in my automatic writing, they assured me that this would go on for a while and that, all would work out, all um, would turn out all right. But just, yeah, things like that. I'll ask things about, anything. It could be anything. And it's as it, I don't have time to think about it. I'm writing and it's um, the words are just coming to me as I'm writing. I'm not thinking about it. And sometimes there will be things that it's not my words. I shared my writing with a friend and I said to her, those aren't my words. And she goes, yeah,
It does
they
not
are.
sound like you.
Yes, right, right. So, yeah,
Interesting. So is
yeah.
that's your primary method of communication right now with them?
It is. I've tried to branch out in different areas, and I'm getting there. I think with their help, I'm, you know, becoming more um, aware of different modalities. But um, as an everyday thing, yes, if I'm going to do a reading for a friend or something, I will do this beforehand just to see if there's something that comes up that I can share with them, you know, and just helps prepare me for that time.
Awesome. What do you think about a lot of people see numbers, repetitive numbers. I'm one of them, but I'm always looking at the clock. Anyway,
Hmm.
so do you think there's anything to that? I don't know. It seems to me like sometimes maybe it's a message and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I'll see, 11, 11 all the time. And I see that on the clock, I just say thank you, it's just a quick thank you. Yeah, numbers, I think I'm not schooled in all of the, I've got a number book and you can look up what these numbers
Right. I don't know
mean.
what each one means. Yeah,
Right,
but
right. But like license plates even, that you will see. I think that's a great way for them to communicate to us as
yeah.
well. Hmm.
So it's like keeping an eye out. Just first of all, believe that this is happening. I think
Hmm.
that's probably paramount. And then, be open to whatever it may be, whatever the sign might be.
Hmm.
Um, because sometimes they can come in a radio broadcast or people talking or something like that. But I think it kind of hits you when it's an actual
Hmm.
message.
Yeah. I was as someone was giving me a reading and it just so happened to be on my dad's birthday. And we were doing a Zoom call, and right in the middle of it were birthday balloons all over the screen.
Oh,
Oh, hi, Dad.
how cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be anything like that.
That's awesome. They know how to use technology.
Much more so than I do.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, do you know, like, do the angels have a hierarchy? Like, I know there's archangels, and then there sort of lower regular angels.
Hmm.
Beyond that,
Hmm.
do you know what that sort of hierarchy is like?
Well, the archangels, I kind of went to them when I was writing my book. As I started writing my book, I kind of had an outline of what I wanted to follow. And as I was using automatic writing, I just asked if there were any archangels that would like to come forward. They have specific duties, like Archangel Michael is the protector, Archangel Raphael is healing, the healing angel. Um, and I had several come through, and I did share things that they, shared with me because at first I thought, well, who really wants to know what they're saying to me? But really, when I looked back at the messages, it's for all of us. It was definitely, it's not just for me. So I did end up putting those there. Yeah. I've worked worked with several of them. The cherubs, the seraphim is a group of angels that um, I learned about too within my angel network. But yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy involved, right?
Interesting. Do they come and help us with sort of everyday things, or is it?
Hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm quite sure I have, parking angels, or maybe they're guides. I don't know, but I've been rescued from many a situation of not being able to find a parking spot.
Yeah, I've
So,
I've heard of that and I've tried that myself. If I give them enough time, you can't, I'll say, and I have to remember to do it. I'd like a parking spot, up front if you can
manage it.
arrange it. Yeah. And yeah, it
But
does
yeah,
happen.
that's a good point. Give them a little warning, like don't just get to the place and then go, I need a parking spot.
Right.
Although
Right.
I've had that too. But um, yeah, they are magnanimous
Hmm.
angels. They will help.
Mhm.
But they are around and we can just call on them.
Right. And I think we have to be specific in what we are asking of them because we have free will, they can't just act unless it's a situation like with my kids and me in our car.
Right.
That was a situation that Archangel Michael, helped us there. But I think you have to be very specific in what you ask for. And I try to do that in prayer and meditation and you know, that has helped me with my communications.
Awesome. Um, so you do I think you mentioned angel Reiki. Do you do that?
Yeah,
What
I was
is that?
trained in Angel Reiki
Okay.
um, um, through with Julie Jancis, and I started out just interested in the healing modality and just wanted to learn more about it. And as I went through the process and did some readings with strangers, particularly because that's where you get validation from, them that you are picking up on things. It was just I felt that I was happiest when I was doing that. And I was still working. I'm a retired teacher now, and I actually retired a year early to work on the book. But um, in my free time, I would do this, and it just it it it's almost like an energy jolt because you are connecting with someone else, and it just is amazing.
Interesting. So how is angel Reiki different from Reiki? Regular Reiki.
I have been asked that. I haven't been trained in Reiki, but I think it's just calling on the angels to help through God's energy and the angels to kind of balance out our energy centers, in our body. And certainly, I'm just a conduit to that happening. It's almost like when we pray every day, we're asking for help with this or that. And I just feel like it's the same type of thing, only I'm, working on the different chakras in a person's body. I can sense when a chakra is um, heavy or blocked, and I know that I need to work in that area.
Right. So
So,
basically you're clearing the or balancing the energy which would allow for more healing, perhaps,
mhm. Yeah, yep,
because the
exactly.
body heals itself in
Hmm.
many
Yep.
ways. Okay, that's very, very cool. Um, so what would you suggest to somebody out there that's saying, "Well, I don't know how to talk to these angels." So what would be is automatic writing a good thing to start with?
I think it's certainly a great way to start. Yeah. Um, and, just invite them in. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be a big, long, hour-long dialogue. It can be something very simple. Um, what am I, what can you share with me that I'm to know for today, for my highest good? And just see what comes. It does take practice, and but everybody can do it.
Do you sort of feel that they're there when they're there?
Hmm. Yeah, I asked the angels, how will I know that you are speaking with me? And they shared with me, well, we're going to address you as dear one
Mm.
in our dialogue. And so when they start out dear one, and then go on from there. That's how I know. But you're right. I can feel their presence.
Nice. So
Mhm.
when you hear dear one, you write dear one.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Do you hear it or it's not really hearing?
I don't hear it. It's like I'll see it in my mind's eye.
Oh, okay.
I'll see the words, so that I'm writing, and sometimes I'll see a whole sentence before I'm going to write it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Then you're writing madly.
I am. Yeah. I feel
Keep
like I'm
up.
taking notes almost, trying to get everything quickly.
Exactly. Then you read it later. Oh,
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
nice. Nice. Well, Deb, I know we talked about maybe pulling a card or two, an angel card or two for
Sure.
ourselves and the audience, just as a little message from the angels today. See if they have
Sure.
any, got any hope, comfort, or encouragement for
Oh, we need it,
us.
don't we?
We could definitely use it.
Yes. And this deck is called the Guardian Angel deck, by Tony Carmen Salerno. I'm not pronouncing her name,
Okay.
but I like to go to this deck because we all have a guardian angel, and you can communicate with your guardian angels too. So let's see here.
Or just invite everybody in. Hey, anybody that's available.
Yeah. This card says, Star, believe in yourself. You are a wonder of creation. Wash away all fear and discover you are a shining star. Allow all around you to just be. Let go of trying to control life, for the light of your soul will guide you and always towards love. Remember, stars are born through explosions of love. Love illuminates all things. Never forget you are truly a shining star.
Very
Um,
nice. What does that
yeah, and
card
so
look like? Or maybe it's going to be backwards on.
here's the front of it.
Oh, beautiful. How
Yeah,
pretty.
and the message.
It's a heart shape and
Yeah.
it's got angel wings in like
Hmm.
coral and gold and pink.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah. And, I think that's one of the messages that came through, um, for everyone. The messages that I got is, um, my angels kind of used a mantra to share love with others every day. And that's seems to be the general message that I've picked up on,
Okay.
trying to do that in everyday life.
If we all share love every day, we'll soon be full of hope, comfort, and encouragement, right?
Mhm. Yes, definitely.
We'll soon be out of discouragement. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So, Deb, do you do angel readings for people or sessions or anything like that?
I have done, yes. And I have my email is on the book, and you can just email me and I'll send information. But my email is Deb Keefer 319 at gmail.com.
Okay.
If interested, sure.
Okay. We'll put that in the show notes for anybody that's interested. And yeah, any last words for us today? Any last messages from the angels? Or is
Oh, this has just
love
been
is the
so
thing?
fun. Pardon me?
Love is the thing, right?
Love is share love. Yes.
Okay.
No, I've really enjoyed speaking with you. It's fun to share the experiences I've had.
Absolutely. It's been a
Mhm.
pleasure having you.
Yes,
All
thank you.
right. Well, my name is Bev Young. I am a web designer and digital marketing specialist, and I help spiritual entrepreneurs and heart-centered local business owners get more credibility and visibility online with websites they love and that work. And we will see you next time. Bye for now, Deb. Thank you.
Bye.